was sick, named Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary, and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment, and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. What's going on here is Jesus, you look back in John chapter 10, he was discussing with the Jews, the scribes, the Pharisees, and he had healed the blind man, and they said, you know, you healed this blind man, who are you? Tell us plainly, are you the Christ or not? No more parables, no more questions, just tell you, are you the Christ? And Jesus says, I and my Father are one. Okay? That would be a yes. When Jesus said, yes, I am the Christ. Despite what the Iglesias or the JWs, Jehovah's Sicknesses, despite what the cults will tell you, Christ did proclaim himself to be God. And it was very obvious to everyone standing there, because when he said, I and my Father are one, they picked up stones and said, this is blasphemy. They picked up stones to stone him. And that's at the time Jesus got out of there and he left Judea. He left that area and he went out to the area where John the Baptist had baptized. Where was that? Good, beyond Jordan, the wilderness. Good. And so Jesus left that area, and that was winter. Okay, now you fast forward about 4 months, give or take, and now it's the week before Jesus is going to be crucified. Okay, so now Jesus is out there, he's ministering, and guess what? They're safe. Are there scribes out there in the wilderness? No. Scribes are there in Judea and Jerusalem, and that area. They're in their home, copying the scriptures, studying heresy. Are there any Pharisees out there in the wilderness? No. Pharisee is someone that believes they can be saved by doing good works, keeping the law. And what they like to do is to show people how much piety they have. It means how much dedication they have to the law. If there's no one to see them being pious, being dedicated to the law, is there anyone going to go like this to them in the wilderness? No, the trees are not going to applaud. Right? Okay, so if we do good works before men, who's going to give us a round of applause? Men. So should we do our works before men, or we do it before God? Good. If you do it before men and men applaud you, guess how many rewards you're going to get from God for it? Very good. Nothing. Okay? You've already got your reward. So when we do our good works, we do not do it for the applause of men. Some people ask, how come after a special number in Baptist churches, you don't clap? Why don't we clap after the special number? When the choir got done, none of you stood up and went, bravo, encore, sing again, come on, Mr. Mitch, Mitch. Nobody did that. Well, maybe a couple actually did that. No one did that. Why? Because the choir, they sing for the glory of God. And when they get to heaven, they get rewarded there. They don't want the reward here. Right? So I didn't see anyone have a hat out, taking out, throw your money in the hat if you like to sing. No, you'll take your reward in heaven and not now. Alright? So there was a man, his name was Lazarus, he has two sisters, Mary and Martha. He's sick. And where is Jesus? Well, he's out in the wilderness. Why? Because they're trying to stone him and they're looking for a way to kill him as soon as he enters Judea. And Jerusalem is in Judea. So he's with his disciples, and the key word there is they're safe. They're safe. They don't need to worry about someone killing them in the night. They don't need to worry about the Pharisees out there, or the scribes, or the Sadducees, or the Herodians. The Sanhedrin's not out there. The high priest is not out there. Caesar's not out there with the soldiers in the wilderness worrying about the teaching and the baptizing of Jesus. They're safe out there. Life is not comfortable, but it's good for the disciples out there. And then Lazarus gets sick. Now, how many funerals did Jesus speak at? Think hard. Well, that's right, none. Now he did come upon a funeral at one time. Actually more than once, twice. But one, there were actually a funeral. They were going to bury a widow's son. Widow of Nain. Nain means beautiful. And her son was dead, her only son. And they were going to bury him, and he was in the bier, the bier. That's the casket. Okay? Kabahom. Right? And the kabahom. And Jesus came to that funeral, and then they stopped. Because Jesus had some people with him, and they thought, well, maybe Jesus can say a few kind words. You know what Jesus did? He looked at his notes, and he said, I can't find my funeral sermon notes. I don't have any sermons I can give for the funeral. So he touches the kabahom and says, rise. And you know what he did? He did. He rose up. And God said, funeral's canceled. Funeral's canceled. He can keep the suit. He's canceled. But the funeral's canceled. The boy was raised back to life and reunited with his mother alive. So death cannot stand in the presence of Jesus. And here's Lazarus. He's sick and he's about to die. So Mary and Martha say, quick, someone get word to Jesus. The one whom he loves, his friend, Lazarus, is dying. He's very sick. Jesus needs to hurry up, get back here, and heal Lazarus. Now, if you're one of those disciples, do you see that there is a problem? Where is Lazarus? He's in Bethany, which is in Judea, which is next to Jerusalem. He's where all the people are, and those people are trying to kill them. But Lazarus is too sick to go to Jesus in the wilderness, where John the Baptist ministered. Probably not actually way out in the wilderness, but it's beyond where the people that are trying to kill him are. So do you see the problem? Here's the people that are trying to kill Jesus. And also here is Lazarus, who is sick and needs Jesus to heal him. So the disciples hear that news and they say, if we go with Jesus, we will die. Jesus will die. So either we all die with Jesus and Lazarus is saved physically, Lazarus already a believer, or we can stay here and let Lazarus die, but at least Jesus and all of us get to live. Well, let's see, there's 12 disciples, and then there's Jesus. So how many lives do we have? Good. And then there's Lazarus. How many is he? One, right? So one man can die, or 13 will die. You do the math. Right? You got debit and credit, right? All right. So the disciples did not want to go there because they knew if they go there, they would die. And they knew that Jesus would die. Let me ask you, would Jesus die if you were to go there? Yes, he would. This would be his final entrance into Judea. His final entrance then later into Jerusalem, where he would be crucified. So they were right. Those people were really serious about getting their hands on Jesus and killing him. And they will succeed. They will be successful. Now the disciples won't die, but they don't know that. They don't know that. Only one disciple would die if they were to go with Jesus. If they stay, they will all be safe. But if they go with Jesus, only one of them would die. Not all 12. And by the way, which one was it? Judas. Good. Okay, so now you know what's happening. You know the background, verse 4. When Jesus heard that, he said, "This sickness is not unto death." Who's he talking to? Who's with him? The disciples. The disciples, good. The messenger says, "Hey Jesus, Mary and Martha are very worried. The one that you love, who is Lazarus, is very sick. Can you come and heal him?" So Jesus hears the message, and he says to his disciples, "This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby." What do you think the disciples said? They said, "Oh, phew, good. So we don't need to go there. The reason for this sickness is not for his death." Well, guess what? The day that Christ received this message is probably the very day that Lazarus died. Because by the time Jesus made it there, he would have already been dead 4 days. give or take a 1 or 2 day journey. You got 4 days or less right there. So he was probably died or already dead by the time Christ received that message. Here Christ says to his disciples, hey guys, I know you're worried about the persecution a few months ago, and I'm just going to tell you right now, Lazarus is not sick. The reason he is sick is not because he's going to die. People get sick for 3 reasons. Reason number 1 is for punishment. Okay, so every time someone gets sick, maybe because they're being punished. Reason number 2 is that God might glorify them through this sickness. Okay? So if you're a Christian and you're walking with the Lord and you get sick, you can say this is for God's glory. You might also think, well, or is it because I'm being chastised? Is this punishment? And then the 3rd reason is to bring about physical death. Okay, that also could be. So if you get sick, it's for 1 of 3 reasons. I'm sick because I'm going to die. God is getting me sick so I will die. Or because I'm being punished. Or because God wants to glorify himself by me getting sick. And Jesus said to his disciples, the reason that Lazarus is sick is not to bring about death. Oh, and also, it's not for punishment. It's for me receiving glory by him getting sick. So the disciples thought, oh, good. So he's not going to die. Actually, he was already dead. So they thought, in their mind, they thought, he's going to recover. No need for Jesus to go there. He's going to recover. So let me stop there and ask you this. You're one of the disciples, and they think they're relieved because Jesus said he's not going to die from this sickness. That's what they heard. It's not what he said. He said the reason for the sickness is not for death, but for glory to God. And that's what he said. What they heard was he's not going to die from this sickness. If you're one of those disciples, do you believe that Christ can heal Lazarus without him going there? We know today, of course, we know, yeah, Jesus can just like that heal. But the disciples thought that Jesus needed to be in the presence of the sick person. We see over and over in the Bible, people would try to touch Jesus. Why? So they could be healed. Or Jesus would touch them. Why? They believe there's power in that touch. And then there's one guy in the New Testament we read, it says, don't even go to my house. Just say the word and my servant will be healed. Amen. So he had more faith than the disciples did. And Jesus, listen, this is the last 2 weeks of his ministry on earth. All this time, 3 years at least, maybe 4, of a public earthly ministry, and these disciples still did not get it. They still didn't get it. And the greatest teacher, God himself, they still didn't understand the power. They watched Jesus control the weather with the word. They watched as Jesus could heal a servant without going there. They watched as Jesus had power to walk on water. And yet, at this point, after seeing all these things, the feeding of the 4,000, the feeding of the 5,000, the raising of the dead, they still don't realize God could heal Lazarus from a distance. And they also did not understand that God could heal Lazarus after he was dead. So verse 5. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So you can't say, well, he didn't heal Lazarus because he didn't love Lazarus. He wasn't part of the elect. God did love Lazarus. God loves everybody. Verse 6, when he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that saith he to his disciples, let us go into Judea again. Wait a minute. Back up. Something is not computing. Jesus told the disciples, don't worry, this sickness is not for death, it's for God to receive glory. And so the disciples says, oh good, we don't need to go. And then 2 days later, They probably already forgot about Lazarus by this time. Jesus says, hey guys, let's go check in on Lazarus. Let's go to Bethany, where all those people are that want to kill me, and let's go check up on Lazarus. The disciples said in verse 8, the disciples saying to him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again? Now, I'm sure the disciples were concerned about Jesus. Who else do you think they might be concerned about? Yeah. Jesus, they might kill you. And Jesus is thinking, yeah, you're worried about them killing you, not just me. But they didn't say that. But we know, later we'll find out, they were worried about number one, not just about Jesus. Okay? So Jesus says, now we're going to go there, and we're going to heal Lazarus. And he says this, verse 9, are there not 12 hours in a day? That's an interesting question. What does that have to do with their fear of being killed entering back into Judea? Jesus says, how many hours are there in a day? Jesus says 12, right? So that's about right. That changes based on winter or summer, but give or take, we have about, on average, depending where you are, 12 hours a day, 12 hours of night. So Jesus asks them a question. Don't we have 12 hours of daylight before the night comes? What's the answer? Yeah, we do. He says, if any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. Jesus here is the light. And he's using the light of the sun, the physical sun, to demonstrate a spiritual truth. And that is, if you have Christ, you have the light. And if you have the light, you can walk in places that are dark, but when you get there, you are a light bearer. You are one that is bringing forward the light. So are you going to stumble and fall and trip in the light? No, not when you have the light shining. Now, a few weeks ago, I was stuck in traffic, maybe half a kilometer from my house, and I needed to get home quick and to pay a taxi driver. And I had my wallet with me, and I had to get to my house to pay another taxi. So I got out of my taxi, and it was raining hard. I had to get home, so whatever, I get wet. So I get out of the taxi, and I start running as fast as I could, which is not very fast. And some Filipino, a very intelligent person, decided to put a wire about that high off the ground. Very tight along above the ground, on the sidewalk, of course, where no one can see it, where it's dark. And so you got this little fat boy running on the sidewalk as fast as he can. And my foot got stuck under the wire, and I went flying through the air. And I landed in a puddle about that deep. It was at a gas station parking lot. I went flying through the air, and I landed in a puddle. I was soaking wet, smelled like gasoline, in the dark. I tripped like an idiot in front of everybody. And you know what they did? They said, are you okay? Can you let us help? No, they laughed. But to be fair, I probably would have laughed too. What's my problem? I don't know how to run? Yeah, I know how to run. I know how to walk. My running and walking is not better during the day than during the night. I don't have a more skillful walk in the day compared to the night. The only difference, same body, same health, same mind, the only difference is one I can see, the other one I can't. So here Christ says to the disciples, you've got the light. Wherever you go, it's dark over there, I know. He's like, I know Judas, I know Thomas, I know guys, over there it's dark and you're scared. And you want your mommies. But when you're with me, you have light. So just like during the day, you can run through the gas station and you won't fall because you have the light. Well, if you take the light from here to over there, it's not dark there anymore. You can run through the parking lot gas station and you won't fall. Jesus says in the day you have 12 hours, you can run around, you're not going to be afraid about falling. And when you're with me, you have that light. But what happens when that light is gone? Well, it gets dark. So Jesus says, you have 12 hours of daylight in a day, and then that time is over. You have me now, and you have that light now. Don't start being afraid now. You can be afraid after I'm gone, when it's dark, but when you have that light, there's no reason to be afraid. So my question is, why are we afraid? Why are we afraid to talk to lost people about the gospel? Why are we afraid to go out and make a fool out of ourselves and go and street preach or go out and give out tracts at a busy intersection? Why are we afraid to do it? We shouldn't, because we have the light. It's with us, and we bring it with us. Some people talk about letting your light so shine, and they think that the light is us. We're not the light. We're light's bearers. The light is Christ, and the light is in us. What we need to do is make ourselves hollow, make ourselves invisible, so we don't block the light that is in us from shining forth. It's not your light that shines. It's the light of Christ that's in you that shines. What we do as people, as believers, Christians, sometimes, what we do is we stop that light from shining out. We block the light that's already shining. We hide it behind a bush. Hide it under a bushel? No. I'm going to let it shine. It's not your light. It's the light that you have in you. Specifically that light of Christ. And wherever you go, you will take that light with you. So Jesus says to his disciples, you're worried about dying? You're worried you're going to kill me or they're going to kill you? Well, don't. Because wherever you go, the light is going to go with you. You have 12 hours a day. And just as you have that time with that light, you have a certain amount of time with me. Guess what? You have a certain amount of time where that light is with you here on this earth as well. What happens when you die? That light goes up to heaven with you. It doesn't shine here on earth anymore. In other words, time is running out. Don't waste your time worrying about who's going to kill you. That's what Jesus' message is to these disciples. Your time is short. My time here, within 2 weeks, Christ will be crucified and gone. And the disciples would think he will be gone forever. Okay? So, Jesus is saying, we have a little bit of time left. Here I am, the light. Use the time that you have now. It will run out. Use the time that God has given you this week, because your time will run out. You will not. And you will not have that light to share with the world. It will be extinguished. It will be gone. You'll be in heaven. Thankful for that. But the message is, when you're in heaven, you can't let your light shine before men. Your light needs to shine here on earth while you have that opportunity. So that's why Jesus asks the question, guys, don't be afraid of the darkness. Don't be afraid he's going to kill you. Don't be afraid he's going to laugh at you. Don't be afraid you're going to starve to death and die. You have the light. You'll be fine. Verse 11. These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. So the disciple says, Jesus, don't go there. Don't go there because they're trying to kill you. Jesus says, but my friend Lazarus, he's asleep. And I need to go there and wake him up. Verse 12, then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Albeit Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest in sleep. So what are the disciples saying? Oh, if he's sleeping, Jesus, as kind of a medical doctor, I can tell you he's fine. Okay? Are they medical doctors? No. They're a tax collector, fishermen, No, they're not doctors. But they said, hey Jesus, you probably don't know this. So we're going to educate you. Because you don't know everything, Jesus. Let's listen to me about medical advice. After all, I am a fisherman. Let me tell you, if he's sleeping, Jesus, then that means he's going to be okay. Okay, so Jesus, you didn't know that, but that's okay. You're not perfect. what he is. I'm going to tell you, Jesus, now you know, you're just ignorant, it's okay. I will inform you that he's sleeping, and that is a good thing. That means he's going to be fine. If you were one of those disciples, and Jesus said, he sleeps, I'm going to go wake him up, would you dare to go and try to educate Jesus about anything? It shows you that the disciples at this point, they still just don't. Okay? And then verse 14, then said Jesus unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. So Jesus said, hey guys, he's not sleeping, he's like dead sleeping. Okay? Sleep, and there's like dead sleep. He's dead. He's not really sleeping, he's dead. The soul is in Abraham's bosom. The soul is in the center of the earth. The soul is in paradise. Okay? He is, physically, his body is dead. But Jesus told them plainly, he's dead. And then he says, and you know what? I'm glad he's dead. Okay? He says, I'm glad that Lazarus is dead. Because if I was there, I would have healed him. I can't take, death cannot stand in my presence. People don't die in the physical presence of Jesus in the Bible. And if they're dead, he raises them back to life that we see. Okay? So that's for believers, by the way. Nowhere do we see Jesus raise a lost person and brought their soul out of hell. Once they're in hell, they stay there. But we do see people in the Old Testament going in and out of paradise, and even going back and forth from heaven and earth. We see that, but not the lost. So Jesus said Lazarus is a saved guy. I'm glad if I was there, I could not let him die. Death would not take Lazarus if I'm there. So I'm happy that I'm over here so that you might, what word did he use? Believe. He said, your problem, disciples, is not that you're proud. But we do see that they were proud. They were trying to educate Jesus. You're not going to educate Jesus on anything. He says, your problem, disciples, is that you don't believe. You don't believe in what I can do. You don't believe in the power that I have. Now, if there is anyone ever created in this universe that should be able to understand the power that Jesus has, right off the bat, you're going to say the 12 disciples. They saw him. We already talked about it. Think of all the power that they saw in Jesus. Using it. They saw him with the weather and walking on water. We talked about that. They knew, they saw all the power that they had. And Jesus says, you don't believe that I have power? You don't believe that I can heal someone from a distance? I've done it. I've shown it to you before. And somehow you saw it with your 2 eyes and don't believe I can do it again. I've raised people back from the dead. I've raised them to life who were dead for days and they were going to be buried. And still, after you see me do this, still you don't believe? You don't believe in the power that I have? They've seen the power. And Jesus says, you don't believe that I can do it again? The problem is that you don't believe. Let me ask you this. If you're saved today, you know that Christ has the power to save you. You know. You believe it. Why? Because you're saved today. And yet, we live our lives as if Christ can't do it again. As if he can have the power to do it once, and he doesn't have the power to do it again. And so what do? We take the power that he gave to us, and he saved us with, and we say, thank you for saving us. I'm just going to keep this to myself. I don't think that you could empower that person to be saved. I'm not going to witness to them. I'm not going to give them a tract. I'm not going to share the gospel. I'm not going to evangelize. Why? Because I've been saved. I'm okay. I believe you have the power to save me. I'm not going to try and test to see if that power can be used for other people. Look at the response in verse 16. Then said doubting Thomas, or doubting, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples. So here's what they're all doing. They're all looking at each other. Judas is looking at Peter, Peter's looking at John, John is looking at James, the son of Alphaeus, James, the son of Alphaeus, looking at James, the son of Zebedee. And they're all looking at each other, saying, Jesus is going to the place where they're going to kill him. And they did. Jesus did die. We talked about it. And they're looking at each other and they're saying, if we go with Jesus, we die. They believed it. Now, they were wrong about that, except for Judas, he did die. But they're all looking at each other and said, we need to make a very critical, a very crucial decision. What are we going to do? Are we going to follow Jesus to our death? Or do we continue baptizing, and we stay here where it's safe, and we do a mighty fine work for Christ? Mighty fine, a good work. They're doing a good job where they work. They're not out there partying, doing bad things. They're out there doing good things. And they have to make a decision. Do what is good and stay there, or do what is best and follow Christ and die. And they're all looking around. And guess who opens his mouth? It's Thomas. And what does he say? He says, let us also go, that we may die with him. I want us to have that guy's attitude. I want us to be like Thomas. We think of Thomas. He's doubting Thomas. Well, later in life, Thomas had a very great ministry, and he died in the nation of India, modern-day India, where he was martyred. He had a great ministry, and we see the attitude of Thomas here. It wasn't always just a doubter. Thomas says, "Let's go with him, guys." He says, "But we're going to die. Who's going to do the work? Look at all these new disciples. Who's going to teach them? Who's going to train them up? Who's going to tell? Who's going to carry on the message if we die?" It's a good point. Thomas says, let's just go with Jesus. Let's just go where the light is. Because when that one light leaves, we're going to be here in the dark. We're going to stop. Let's go with Jesus and let's die. We don't even want to get out of bed in the morning for Jesus. We don't even want to give up the gospel to even one person for Jesus. And Thomas says, let's go die with him. Let's have a spirit like Thomas that says, Christ, for your glory, if you want me to not have a car, I won't have a car. I saw a post on Facebook this week from some prosperity gospel church with a picture of a car. God wants to give you everything you need as a picture of a car. That's not why we follow Christ. Why do we follow Christ? It's not to get a car, it's not to be rich, not to have a big house, not even to have your needs met. God, if Jacob, you give me food, you give me raiment, clothes, you bring me back home to my mom and dad in peace, then you will be my God. Trying to make a deal with God. Guess what God did? God said, no, I'm not going to do that, Jacob. And then Jacob, before Esau, when he thought he was about to be killed by his brother, Jacob says, okay, Al-Betha, okay, God, you will be my God. Even though you kill me tomorrow, from my hand Esau, my brother, you will be my God. We don't make deals with God. We don't say, God, I'll serve you, I'll witness for you if you don't make it too difficult, if you make it easy. Our desire should be, God, glorify yourself whether I'm sick like Lazarus or not. Whether I die or I don't. Whether I live to old age or I die young. If I have cancer and I don't have money for the hospital bill, Lord, may I die with dignity and grace, knowing that I glorify you. It's not about long life. It's not about riches. It's not even about family. Or what family is. It's about God receiving glory. How are you going to glorify God? With the life that He has given you and the short time that you have left. If you're not willing to say, God, I'm willing to starve to death and die for you, not being His disciple. If you're saying, Lord, I'm willing to take a pay cut. How about you're willing to die? Or I'm willing to give out the gospel if I can. Or if it's not too inconvenient. God says, how about you do it every day? How about you get up early and you go out and do it? How about you stay up late? How about you pray? How about you be willing to die for me? It's not about what you can get from God. It's about what you can give. And that includes your life. Maybe be like Thomas and say, Lord, I'm willing to give you.